Good afternoon. This is Sherry Woodfin with the Office of Court Administration, and we are here with a presentation on local rules, forms, and standing orders. With me today, we have Kelly Thibodeau. She's the executive assistant to Megan Lavoie, our director. We also have Samuel Nichols. He is our project manager for this project. We'd like to remind you of a few things as we go through our webinar. There is the chat that is in the feature in the call that you can put questions in, and we will do our best to answer those. We do have questions and answers built into this webinar at the end of the session, and so you may want to hold your questions to the end because they may actually get answered before you have to ask them. Mr. Nichols is also going to do a demonstration of the court tools where these documents will be uploaded for the clerks further on in the presentation. So as we get started, we hope that you all benefit from this webinar, that you take away what you need in order to make this happen in your county. And we're going to go through the presentation. We're going to get off camera so you can see the presentation. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so as we go through the rules, this involves the Supreme Court rules. If you'll go to the next slide, Sam, Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 3A, the Rules of Appellate Procedure 1.2, the Texas Rules of Judicial Administration, Rule 10, and it was done by Supreme Court Miscellaneous Docket number 22.90, -9081. And the Court of Criminal Appeals Miscellaneous Docket 22.006. So next slide, we'll talk a little bit about the rules themselves. The Rule 3A, Texas Rules of Civil Procedure, it was signed September 20th and 23rd, and the effective date is January 1st, 2023. The Office of Court Administration was required to create a website that local rules could be added to, and that website is now live, and it provides the ability for these local rules, forms, and standing orders to begin being posted to. The website is Courtal, COURTAL.txcourts.gov. And that, again, is where you would upload your rules. So to talk a little bit about Rule 3A of the Civil Rules and Procedures, it is an administrative, judicial region or a court governed by these rules may promulgate local rules, forms, and standing orders that govern local practices. Relations with other authorities include local rules, forms, and standing orders must not be inconsistent with state or federal law or rules adopted by the Supreme Court of Texas. This requirement extends to any time period provided by these rules. And if adopted by a court, local rules, forms, and standing orders must not be inconsistent with any rule of the administrative judicial region in which that court is located. And then C of 3A talks about publication requirements, and it is to be affected. Local rules, forms, and standing orders must be published on the Office of Court Administration website in order to be in effect. Next slide. And I went ahead and put the comment from that rule because I think that it's important to note that the amended rule provides that local rules, forms, and standing orders must not conflict with other laws or rules, and that they are not effective unless published on the OCA website. So we're going to go next to section 74093 to talk a little bit about rules of administration. Next slide. Okay, so 74.093 of the government code has our rules of administration, and it requires the district and statutory county court judges in each county shall, by majority vote, adopt local rules of administration. The rules must provide for assignment, docketing, transfer, and hearing of all cases subject to jurisdictional limitations of the district courts and statutory county courts. It also is designation of court divisions or branches responsible for certain matters, and then holding court at least once a week in the county, unless in the opinion of the local administrative judge, sessions at other intervals will result in more efficient court administration. Next slide. And it continues to say fair and equitable division of caseload and plans for judicial vacation, sick leave, attendance, and educational programs and similar matters. The rules may provide for the selection and authority of a presiding judge of the courts, giving preference to specified class of cases such as civil, criminal, juvenile, or family law cases. Other strategies for managing cases that require special judicial attention, a coordinated response for the transaction of essential judicial functions in the event of a disaster, and any other matter necessary to carry out this chapter or to improve the administration and management of the court system and auxiliary services. Next slide. The rules may provide for the establishment and maintenance of the list required by section 37.003, including the establishment and maintenance of more than one of a list required by that section that is categorized by type of case, such as family law or probate law, and the person's qualifications. Rules relating to transfer of cases or proceedings shall not allow the transfer of cases from one court to another unless the cases are within the jurisdiction of the court to which it is transferred. When a case is transferred from one court to another, as provided under this section, all processes, writs, bonds, recognizance, or other obligations issued from the transferring court are returnable to that court to which the case is transferred, or if originally issued by the court. Next slide. So now we'll talk a little about the rules of appellate procedure, which is Rule 1, and the change that was made with that. This is rules govern procedure in appellate courts and before appellate judges and post-trial procedures in trial courts in criminal cases. Promulgation, a court of appeals may promulgate rules and forms governing its practice that are not inconsistent with state or federal law or rules adopted by the Supreme Court or the Court of Criminal Appeals. To be effective, local rules and forms must be published on the Office of Court Administration website. And parties' non-compliance of court must not dismiss an appeal due to a party's failure to comply with a local rule or form without giving the non-compliant party notice and a reasonable opportunity to cure the non-compliance. Next slide. We have the comment from that rule. And again, it notes that the amended rule provides that local rules and forms must not conflict with other laws or rules that are not effective unless published on the Office of Court Administration website. So the next rule that we'll talk about is the Rule 10. Next slide. General rule is the local rules, forms, and standing orders must not be inconsistent with other laws and rules and must be published again on the Office of Court Administration's website. And the multi-court counties and multi-court counties having 2 or more court divisions, each division must adopt a single set of local rules, forms, and standing orders that govern all courts in the division. Next slide. And then the local rule content must include provisions for fair distribution of caseloads among the judges, designation of the responsibility for emergency and special matters, plans for judicial vacation, sick leave, attendance at educational programs and similar matters, and any other content required by sections 27.061 or 74.093B of the Texas Government Code. Next slide. The format of local rules, forms, and standing orders must be submitted in a format specified by the Office of Court Administration. And what I can tell you with that is your rules and forms and documents that are to be uploaded need to be in a PDF format. Presiding judge authority. I think these are important to note. The presiding judge of an administrative judicial region may direct a court in the region to amend or withdraw a local rule, form, or standing order if the presiding judge determines that that rule, form, or standing order fails to comply with Rule 3A of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure, or that it is unfair or unduly burdensome. And then also Supreme Court authority may direct a court to amend or withdraw a local rule, form, or standing order for the same reasons. So we want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. If you go to the next slide, there is a conflict resolution information that we want to provide. As it states in 10E and F, that sets out the process for review. On the public website that will go live on January 1st, 2023, it will direct attorneys and the public with the following instructions. Complaints that a local rule, form, or standing order conflicting with other laws or rules is ineffective or is unfair or unduly burdensome may be presented first in writing to the presiding judge of the administrative judicial region in which the court is located, then in writing to the Supreme Court of Texas at rules comments at txcourts.gov. So that is where those complaints or requests would go. Next slide. And then again, on the comments of that rule, paragraphs E and F expressly authorize the regional presiding judges and the Supreme Court to direct changes to or the repeal of local rules, forms, and standing orders. So next slide. So here's just a screenshot of what the OCA website looks like. If you go to txcourts.gov under Rules and Forms tab, you will see this page. At the left-hand portion of this page, it shows clerk information and instruction, and then it will pull up this screen. And local rules, forms, and standing orders, the little red box in the center is where you would click, and it would take you to the ability to enter your documents. Next slide. The system is for authorized users only. Attorneys, paralegals, and members of the general public cannot be added to the system as authorized users. They would be able to review documents through the public website. And for clerks who already use the system for protective orders and citation by postings, this is just another module that will be within the portal. Access to the module can be set up in the user account, or if someone manages those rights, they can set that person up, and you assign the role to manage the local rules there. As soon as their record is saved, the option will appear in the menu bar at the top of the screen. And if they change it for themselves, or they can log off and back in to see the role has been changed. Mr. Nichols is going to provide a demonstration of the site for clerks to upload the documents at this time.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Let me set my screen up here. Let's see. Okay. So first I want to start here. This is our TJB landing page, and this is the site that on the presentation that Sherry kind of showed you. There's two ways you can get to the local rules page. Here, under here it has new, the Office of Court Administration, Local Rules, Forms, and Standing Orders website. If you click here, this will take you to the local rules, forms, and standing orders landing page. And most of you have been here. If you're on this actual webinar, you click this link so you actually know what this is at. Also, you can go to rules and forms, click local rules and forms. It'll still be on the same page, but you can click there to get to this actual site here as well. just real quick, the rules that Sherry kind of went over and the Texas Government Code, they're located here. So if you need to go back and reread them, they're here for you to review. And also the final approval amendment is here. It's a link here that you can click on and pull up that final approved amendment. Frequently asked questions. Sherry will go over this in a little bit more detail, but however, I do ask that you kind of, as she goes over them, because she won't have time to go through each and every one of them, but to kind of go here and look them over. And once you click on one, it drops down and it provides you the answer to that particular FAQ. So you got a bunch of FAQs here, and hopefully your questions will be answered by virtue of these FAQs here. Now I'm going to go to the clerk's information and rules page. And again, this is the one that Sherry showed you on her presentation. And you click here and it will pull up this page, the sign in with email page. Now I'm not going to use that one because this is the one that's the one that you all use. I'm going to use a test website to kind of show you. So my information in the test website may not be the same as what you all have in your system. So I'm gonna click off that. I'm gonna put my email address in here, click submit. It's gonna send me a link. Okay. Oh, no, not that. Here we go. Okay. And so it says, welcome to OCA Courts tool. And then it has a lot of different verbiage down here that you can kind of read later on. I'm going to click right here, local rules, forms, and standing orders. So go here, and here you have your add documents. Then right here, you have manage documents, summary report, and court documents. So here where it says manage documents, if you're trying to, and this is where you perform your search for any particular document that you're looking for. For instance, if you're looking for a particular document type, and there's only 3, local rules, standing orders, and forms, you can type that here. I'll type local rules, just so I can actually type right, local rules here. And so it drills down, just provides me the local rules. Now, if you have a bunch of local rules out here, you can drill down, you can refine it even more and get more specific. So if you want to, if you know the name of the title of the document you're trying to search for, you can put the document title here. I'm just going to put this here, and as you see, once I type that in there, everything goes away because I don't have anything titled that way. But if I type in test, which is this the only one I have out here, it'll keep that test document up. So you could drill down as much as you want. You know, if you just want to see documents that are in effect, right here, it's either yes or no. Those are only 2 selections you're going to have to choose from. If I type no here, that means there's no documents in this particular area that shows documents that aren't in effect. But if I type yes, which yes is already there, it'll keep that document up there. So you can perform searches as globally, or you could drill down a little bit further to get the exact documents you want. And these are managed documents. Summary reports, same thing. Depending on the court you're looking for, you can type in the court name. If I type in, let's say just 187th, nothing comes up because I don't 189 because I don't have anything out there labeled 189. But if I type, for instance, Castro, just start typing it in there, then this will pop up and it just give me that one particular court that I'm looking for, Castro. And then it has here, I only have 1 local rule uploaded for this particular court. I don't have 0 forms and 0 standing orders. Again, your page may have a lot more documents out there. So this tool will be a lot more useful as more documents are populated on this page. Again, I'm using a test site, so I don't have a whole lot of information out here in regards to that, but just to kind of give you an idea on how the search would be used, you know, and you can go back and kind of play with it after we're finished with this webinar here. Court type, in this particular instance, I only have 1 here, constitutional court. If I started typing constitutional court here, or if I just started typing and I messed up a letter, it would go off. So it's nothing by that court type would be out there. So that's how you perform your searches in this actual tool here. And then you have the court document reports. And again, I only have 3 out here, but same rules apply in regards to performing your search. You can search by document type, title, documents in effect, court group, and court type. So those are different searches that you can perform in this particular document here, this website here, I'm sorry. So now I want to add a document. And so I'm going to go out here, click that add document. And again, I don't have a whole lot. Based on your privileges on how many courts you're over, you may see a whole lot more, or you may see a lot less. You may only have 1 court. It just depends on how it's all set up in the system for you. If for whatever reason you don't have the amount of courts that you need to have set up in there, there's a site on you have here where you can click technical assistance in order to contact those folks for technical assistance. And you have for general assistance, which this will probably be the one you, well, either one. General assistance, you got the OCA legal support that you can reach out to. So either one of those 2 will get you where you need to go in order to get your courts added in here that you need to have added in this particular system. So for instance, I can select all, which pick all these courts up for me based on the document I want to add in there, or I could just say, well, I just want to do just 64th district. And so if I just want to do 64th district, I'm just going to leave it on that one for right now. I'll click here, which says select one. And right here, I have local rules, standing orders, and forms. So you got 1 out of 3 that you can select. I'll just select form for right here, just for this purposes here. So document title. Just need to emphasize this, that because this will be exposed to the public, the actual title. So when they're searching for it, you want to be as descriptive as possible when you're coming up with a title for your document, because folks may want to search by the particular title. So I'm just going to type form, and my title won't be descriptive, so excuse me, form for test. And so that's there. And then you could say, well, right here it says, do you want your document to take effect immediately? You can leave it as yes if you want it to be exposed or put out there immediately, or you could say no, put no. And then if you select no, you have to put an effective date that you want it to show up in your system. You want it to show up in the system. So I'll put 11, 29, 2022, okay? Next, I'm gonna choose a document. Okay, I'm just gonna select one here, click save. And so that document I just put out here, right here, forms for form for test, I put effective date no, and then the date it would become effective is 11/29/2022. And so that's where you would actually put that, enter your documents, and then it will populate on your main screen, your home screen. So for those folks who have administrative privileges, I'm going up here to manage users. Click on manage users. And so if you have this particular function, you can add a user in here. If you got multiple courts you're over and you want to add a user so they can upload documents, you can add them here. Put their first name here. Let's just say I'm going to do Sherry. I may need her email address. Let's see. Okay, added it for me. And I'm just going to give her one court. I'm just going to give her Hart Municipal Court. And for our purposes, I know we got a citation about publication, view protectable. I don't know if you'll have all these up here, but the one we're going over right now is manage local rules, forms, standing orders. So I'll click that one, add her there. well, her account already exists, so it won't allow me to add her. But the gist of it is you in order to add someone, you just add their first name, last name, email address, and then which court you want them to be able to upload those documents to. And then you click save, and that person is effectively able to add documents, upload documents into the system. And it's pretty straightforward. Our IT team made this system as user-friendly as possible. However, if you run into some roadblocks, you're more than welcome to reach out to our support team or OCA Legal to get more input. But I highly suggest that you guys look at the FAQs prior to doing that, just to make sure it's not answered out there in our FAQs first. I think that's it far as the demo, Sherry.
Okay, thank you so much. So we already have some questions, so we're going to go ahead and just go to those questions. Is there a deadline to submit post new rules? And that is January 1. That is when they would take effect for it to be loaded to the website. So there's not a deadline for you to get them on there, but would not be in effect unless they are posted by January 1. So we have made the website available and live for you to be able to start posting those now. So you don't have to rush to get that done the day before January 1. And then if there are no changes made to your current local rules, are those rules still in effect? If they've been approved by the Supreme Court prior to the amendment, then yes, they would still be in effect. But once January 1 rolls around, then it must be posted to the website to be effective. And then the next question is, what is the difference between local rules and standing orders? So I think that some counties may only have local rules, but I think standing orders, for example, may be how temporary restraining orders are handled within a county. So there's standing orders in basis to certain ways that things may be directed to be handled within a county. So those would be standing orders versus local rules for more general purposes. I have been trying to sign in since I received the email from OCA, and I request a link but never got one. We'll get with you at the 11th court and see what's going on. If somebody will make a note of that, either Kelly or Sam, and we'll get with you. I'm not sure what the issue may be, but we will certainly see if we can help you with that.
Hey, and also, Sherry, if I could just piggyback on what you said, because there's a lot of folks, I've gotten a lot of last minute requests to join the webinar, but I just didn't have time to add them in here. I mean, as late as 12:13, I've gotten some requests, 12:24, I got requests to get into the site. So I don't know if they requested at the last minute. I try to do it up to the time that we went live on the website, but if you try to request access after that, I didn't get to you.
Yeah, and I'm thinking what this user is talking about is access to the system to be able to be set up, to be able to enter the local rules is what I think this is referencing, Sam, just to clarify. If that is not correct, then please let us know. What forms are required to be posted? If there are set forms for your court that you may currently be providing to attorneys to use, again, I refer to like temporary restraining orders, different things like that. If forms have been created for your court and require that attorneys to use those specific types of forms, those would be what you would need to add to the website. The next question, how do I find out who has the account or how this process is to be set up with the account? If you'll email the OCA legal support at TX Courts, they can get you set up or direct you to who is in your county may be already set up, and we can get you going on that. As far as municipal courts, that's a question in our frequently asked questions. Municipal courts are not required to post their local rules, but they certainly can. So we can help you and get you login information and get you set up where you can add your rules. I did send an email, although both support and OCA legal support just in case. Perfect. I think that that's the best solution for that question. A justice court who applies, we are located in the courthouse and follow our court administration rules and orders. If those are applicable to your JP court, for your justice court, then those would need to be added for your court. I don't believe, unless the setup has been made for the county or district clerk to have access to your courts, that they would even be able to check that it applies to you. So if you're a justice court and you follow those same rules that are set for the county and district courts, then you would need to add those for your court at the JP level. Does Rule 3A now apply to justice of the peace? Your rules would be covered under the administrative rules. So 3A is part of the civil rules and procedures. So if there's anything applicable in that, then that's what 3A would apply to, but administrative rules would apply to JPs. As a municipal court would still need to post our outstanding orders, correct? Yes, you're not required as a municipal court. Again, you don't have to post anything on the website, but we certainly are opening that up for you to be able to. So again, you can do that. Our constitutional county court has a standing order on pro se probates. Is this the type of order that needs to be posted? Yes, that is exactly right. So any type of order that you would use for standing orders that you want the public to use, or any kind of document that is available for attorneys to use, then absolutely those would be what needs to be posted. If you don't have any standing orders, you don't need to create them. The rule does not require that you have standing orders or forms or any of that. Many courts already have these, and if they do, that's what needs to go on the website to be effective. Did we get all the questions answered? Do municipal courts of record with Chapter 54 concurrent civil jurisdiction need to post their standing orders on local rules? That's probably a good question for our legal team, but it certainly doesn't hurt. I would think it would be applicable, but we can get confirmation from our legal team on that. And we'll get back with you. And again, if you'll submit any questions to that OCA legal support email, that those can be answered as well. Does every court have to post local rules? No. If there's no local rules, then you don't have to post them. If you want local rules, you've never had local rules, then you can certainly create them and get them posted, and they would begin to be effective as soon as they're posted. But if you want them to go into effect by January 1, then those would need to be posted on the website by January 1 to be in effect. The question, which forms would need to be posted for justice courts? I'm really not familiar with JP courts. I do think that they may have some forms that they require pro se litigants to use. So those might be some that would need to be added. If you don't have any, you don't have to create them again. It's not a requirement to create things, only to put everything in one place for people to have access to it without having to go to the 254 counties and all the different offices within those counties to find out what their rules and forms and standard rules are, local rules are. where would you post an individual's court policies and procedures? If it is in the form of local rules, standing orders, or a form, you could certainly post them here and choose one of the three choices, because the rule only addresses local rules, forms, and standing orders, and it did not specifically name court policies and procedures. I'm not sure that they're necessarily required. We can certainly check with the legal again about that. But if you wanted to post them, you could certainly post them under one of those three options. Is there any other questions? So we built into the presentation some of the Q&As that we thought might be helpful. And I don't want to necessarily go over all of these. They are on our website. But if you want to read through those, a few that I want to certainly draw your attention to, if you're a district and county court, they are required to be posting their local rules, forms, and standing orders by the effective date of January 1. That does not mean that anything that was not approved by the Supreme Court is required to be posted. If you want to create new local rules, then you can certainly do that and get them posted by January 1. Can justice courts post their local rules, forms, and standing orders? This kind of goes back to one of the questions that was asked already, but it does, yes, in fact, the amendment to the Rules of Judicial Administration 10, effective January 1, makes it clear that justice courts are required to post their local rules to the OCA website. Forms and standing orders website for them to be effective, and justice courts need not post their local forms or standing orders, but they can. So that may give you some clarification to the previous question. I think we've touched a little bit already on the municipal court. I think this is a good one. I'm logged into the OCA locals rules, forms, and standing orders website. How do I get started adding a document? Sam did, as we all know, a demonstration of that, but we will create, and our IT team is creating a guide that we can send to you if you email us at that legal support email address, and we will send you that document. And it kind of just gives you some screenshots and some information that will be helpful in getting you access and giving you instructions on how to add these. Next screen. If you've ever had a document that needs to be in a special format, those you're going to have to just make a PDF text searchable document to load. And then what is the effective date of local rules, forms, and standing orders that I post in OCA's local rules, forms, and standing orders website? So as we explained, the rules of civil procedure, administrative rules, and standing orders must be posted to be in effect. And we want to really bring that home, because that we certainly don't want it to cause any problems or issues within your county, within your courts. So please take the time. You have, roughly 2 months now to get those posted, 6 weeks. So work on getting those ready and posted. You can post them now, even though if you're creating new ones, they may not be effective until January 1. You don't want them effective until January 1. That's when they'll become available on the public website. So you can go ahead and post them now and be ready to go. If you've uploaded a wrong document on the website, you can edit that through the processes. You delete the document and upload it in error as your edit reason, and then delete documents you can upload in error. Deleted document uploaded in error function will only be available for 30 days after the upload. So please be careful and act quickly if you make a mistake. I think that is all that we were going to really talk about. Again, these Q&As are on our website, so please take the time to review them. If you have any additional questions or concerns that we may help you with, go to the TX Courts website, and then the legal support email address is there. We have a couple more questions that came in. The FAQ answer related to justice courts seems like a contradiction. JPs must post local rules, forms, and standing orders, but JPs need not post local forms and standing orders. I'll get that. When I read that, I thought the same thing, but I think that the administrative rule doesn't specifically say forms and standing orders, but we would expect that if you're posting your local rules, you can go ahead and certainly post your forms and standing orders as well for the JP. If there's a different answer from legal, we'll get that to you and hopefully explain that better. If you post a need to change, is that allowed anytime? Updating and amending? Absolutely. So what you want to be sure and do is if you're posting something that is not in effect yet, you can put an effective date. And that's important because you don't want those rules to be necessarily available for people to access until it becomes effective. So we want to make sure that you want to make sure that that effective date coordinates with your effective date of your rules, even though you may post it a couple of months earlier. Any more questions that we might have? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This is being recorded on and will be available on our website for anyone to go back and listen to. We also will have this PowerPoint available on our website for you to be able to print it if you want to review it as well. We'll have these again on the 17th. The next one is on November 17th. Those dates are on our website where you can register if you have additional staff or people that you would like to go through the webinar. So thank you very much again, and I hope you have a pleasant rest of the day and a wonderful Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank you.